Hello, welcome back to BLENDERSUSHI Live Noding. In this episode, we're gonna take a look at one example that I found from the YouTube. There's this channel called Color Simply, and there's this one video that catch my eyes. There are actually quite a few videos with a similar kind of effects. Basically, if I run it from the beginning.
Welcome to the UKF tutorial on dubstep production. Typically a
I
tempo of 140 beats.
I kind of like this kind of effects. So it's like there's a one sound affecting all these particle balls, and there's actually some kind of frequency. Like imagine there's a like low, middle, and loud frequency, and then how all those sound kind of affecting all these balls, making it larger and then kind of pushing it around. So I'm thinking there must be some kind of dynamic force that's affecting these particle balls. I'm guessing it's been created using Cinema 4D, and I'm thinking maybe we could try to emulate something like this without using dynamics, perhaps just all procedural. I have a feeling that this setup actually uses both the loudness and the frequency sampling to achieve such effect. There's also some kind of coloring happening, but yeah, I think it's kind of interesting, so I will try to recreate this on the go. So I'm gonna hide that, and I have the video here. I already downloaded it just for study, and I set it up right here in Blender. I'm using the same sound as a wave. I already exported out, and then let's take a look at this real quick.
UKF tutorial on dubstep production. Typically a tempo of 140 beats per minute is selected.
So,
First, we begin with a simple kick and snare.
So yeah, we have this happening, and then it's sort of working on the low and medium and high frequency.
Snare pattern, like so.
So that's probably the higher frequency, and it's a lower frequency, and there's a middle frequency. So I guess we can just use it. If we compare the two, like real quick, if I play this real quick and then play that.
Welcome to the UKF tutorial on dubstep production. Typically a tempo of 140
So it
beats
says
per
like
minute
more like
is selected.
low
First,
frequency.
we begin with a simple kick and snare pattern, like so. Next, it's time to add some hi-hats and cymbals to fill those spaces.
Yeah, I think we are kind of get that happening already. We just need to change the setup slightly. I'm gonna try real quick. So this is the setup just like I did in the previous live noding video. I'm gonna just borrow the sound from that video. We have 50 samples. Maybe I need to have more. I'll increase it to 100. We're gonna end up with
Welcome to the UK.
100 balls. Let's save this real quick. So this is this is our setup in animation nodes. It's all based on the template. I just make a slight modification where I output the spline instead of animation nodes controlling objects. It's outputting splines, and with splines, of course, we have multiple points that we can sample using sphere chalk in here. So we have that bar happening, and we can control the loudness.
Welcome to the UKF.
So with that already happening, we just need to perhaps instance some geometry. Instead of bar, we're gonna use kind of randomly positioned sphere or icosphere. I'll just use boxes for now. So we have box and we have that guy. We're not gonna control the scale in the Z direction. We're gonna do it differently. So we need some kind of randomization. Let me quickly think. So we have locations. I'll try something real quick. Just randomize input vertices. This guy have this amplitude that we can play to control the position of the box, even though it doesn't give some kind of dynamics motion. It doesn't have any delay or lag. This thing still kind of doing it. We might actually able to pipe in a multiple value here. So we have this map. Let's have two of this mapping. With this guy, let's just plug it into the amplitude and see what's happening.
Tutorial on dubstep production. Typically a tempo of 140 beats per minute. Welcome to the UKF tutorial on dubstep production. Typically a tempo of 140 beats per minute is selected first.
So this, any kind of loudness in the frequency will kind of push the box further. As you can see there, I'm just scrubbing because it's a bit slow if I run the animations. That might be a good start. Let's go back with the compositing. With the scale, we also want to control it using this guy. Gonna use another map range because we might want to use a different value here to control our boxes. Scale, because scale can be a quite sensitive value. We're gonna control it in all XYZ direction. See the scale. Scale goes from, I guess, 0 to 1. So let's change the color into different colors. I guess that's more visually interesting. We can of course colorize each object just like the video. Let's test this again real quick. So we have 100 boxes being pushed.
Next, it's time to add some hi-hats and cymbals to fill those spaces. Add some modulated bass lines, and be sure to make that a register. The important part of any filthy
So that's I guess slightly better, and we are actually just using this randomized input. This guy can easily be the vector noise MK2 that we already used many times, and the box itself can be replaced with anything, including the monkey head. I'm not gonna do it now because with our setup at the moment, it might be a little bit heavy. I think the best way is to use instancer, of course, like real instance objects, and it's gonna be really fast and it's almost like real time. You can see the effects. But I guess this is kind of a good start. Even though each of the boxes at the moment just overlap each other, it doesn't have any kind of respect. With the setup, with that video that we saw earlier, I think they're using dynamic, some kind of rigid body dynamic. So the balls, when they're touching, is kind of pushing each other. Of course, here we can randomize also the rotation and stuff if we want. I'm kind of curious if we, instead of using random, if we're using vector noise and then randomize the seed. Maybe I should do that actually. So this original value goes in there and we want to push it. Let's use vector noise. Let's use this point and using vector math. Just add the original position and then the result of the noise. The noise itself needs to be, this needs to be controlled by the loudness of the sound in different frequencies. So we will need another vector math. Multiply scalar. Let's check this real quick. So that's noise. We can control the noise loudness this way. So you can see with the actual noise instead of random, this guy is being pushed through the noise. So you can see some kind of slight animations. I think there's some kind of better animation. The amount can come from this guy. Maybe we can also use this value as our rotations and use a random number for the angle. Plug that in. Size, actually size 100. Slightly more simplistic, much more simplistic than the video, but I have a feeling that we can use this guy perhaps as a dynamic paintbrush and then use the brush to control the dynamics of particles in Blender. I don't know. I still have to think on that.
Welcome to the UKF tutorial on dubstep production. Typically, a tempo of 140 beats per minute is selected. First, we begin with a simple kick and snare pattern, like so. Next, it's time to add some hi-hats and cymbals to fill those spaces.
It will be better, much better if we have some kind of control over the delay.
Sure to make them heavy.
I don't know if animation nodes kind of doing that already. If we go back to animation nodes, see by default is quadratic. What if we change this to elastic or even or bounce or back? Maybe elastic, actually just use back and just leave it as it is. Go back to 3D view.
Welcome to the UKF tutorial on dubstep production. Typically, a tempo of 140 beats per minute is selected. First, we begin with a simple kick and snare pattern, like so.
I can't see it, but could be something. There's one more thing that I can do kind of to simulate the dynamic. Is actually to use a vector math right here. This is kind of like a good sheet. Use a vector in here and use a frame and math. Put that in, actually. 0.2. Now what's going on is with this guy, the box kind of dancing already in the back.
Next, it's time to
We
add
just didn't
some
see it.
hi-hats and cymbals to
And then
fill
when
the spaces.
when the amplitude is kind of triggering,
and be sure to make them heavy.
the motions kind of mix together, so
Why
as
not
if the
try adding the synth lead in the higher register?
so it is as if the box kind of doing it differently each time, because they are actually moving in the background. Yeah, I guess yeah, could be interesting. And currently we have this. This is because this is Fairchalk. I just suddenly have an idea. What if we do something more instead of having it like this? You can easily replace the box with any instance, but because of the way Fairchalk works, you can actually use matrix apply here, plug in the factor and the matrices, and then here we can use things like closest edges, MK2, and just plug that in and plug that in. We're gonna get totally different result, hopefully. Maybe I need to join this. Join. Please join.
Typically a tempo of 100.
So we have this kind of result. Still pretty simplistic. However,
Welcome to the UKF tutorial on dubstep production.
yeah, it's a little bit more abstract, but I kind of like it. This like this.
Typically a tempo of 140 beats per minute is.
And you know, this is everything is actually live. It's and it's already, since the sound is already baked, you can just scrub through, and because everything is procedural instead of dynamics, you don't need to do any kind of baking, and we have this abstract result. In fact, with the box as well, if you really want, you can randomize the shape over here before we pipe it in. I wonder if I should do that. Maybe I can do that. Just randomize input vertices here with the box. Give it some random amplitude. And then with the seed, we can use a random range integer. So currently we only have like 100 variations, but still that's gonna add something to this guy. We can replace the box with the monkey if we want. So we have now totally different result.
The drop.
Kind of like this soundtrack. It's really nice.
Add some modulated bass line. Why not try adding them?
Yeah, okay, that's yeah, pretty much what I want to show you in this live noting. Perhaps we can tweak it somehow to make this more interesting. You can of course use Blender smokes, fire, particles. I don't know what to do with particles yet, but maybe Fairchalk can use the sound data to trigger the force, to trigger the particles. or you can also use dynamic paint. I always like the dynamic paint because it's a dynamic paint is dynamic, but it's also easy to control. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for this live noding. If you have any suggestion, question, or feedback, just let me know. I'll see you in the next video.